everybody. Today we are continuing our series of Research Talk's Qualitative Scholar Conversations. I'm Ray Maietta and president of Research Talk. We're lucky to be joined today by Keon Gilbert and Alison Hamilton, who will co-teach a course at our summer intensive this year. The course is offered Monday and Tuesday, July 22nd and 23rd. The title is Grant Writing, Designing and Writing Qualitative Proposals for Different Types of Funders.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Alison Hamilton. I am an anthropologist. I've been based at UCLA, where I'm a professor in psychiatry, and at the VA, where I'm a research career scientist and implementation research director.
So I am Keon Gilbert. I'm an associate professor in the College for Public Health and Social Justice at St. Louis University. I'm also currently the executive director at St. Louis University's Institute for Healing Justice and Equity.
What we're aiming to do in proposals is take our audiences on a journey with us. And I think that was one of the things that we really connected on early, was this idea that what we do with grant writing, it involves storytelling, it involves packaging, it involves, really kind of carrying an idea through every component of what these diverse types of proposals really require.
Sometimes there's a difference in the story that you want to tell and the story that someone wants to hear. Many, many more people want to do qualitative research of some sort, some kind, and there may be strategies to include that in proposals, but it may not be the story that a funder wants to support in a way that you are constructing it. It is part of the process in terms of thinking about what is it that I want to say, but what is it that they're interested in reading or maybe more receptive to, and how do you sort of bridge that gap?
I feel like in my own work, I'm less and less inclined to do work that isn't heavily engaged, if not driven by the communities that I'm trying to and hoping to and intending to serve. There are a lot of changes happening in the funding environment in relation to community engagement, to the extent where now there are mechanisms for funding that you just simply can't even apply for unless you have established relationships. And so I think that's really exciting in research, that we are shifting generally toward engagement more front and center in the process of thinking about grants, conceptualizing them, writing them, doing them, who benefits, who's leading, et cetera.
Asking communities what they're interested in likely is going to get you something very different than the questions that we came up with as researchers, and talking to other researchers. And that becomes a little bit far more exciting and far more possibly impactful to the work itself. We talk about different types of partnerships, different types of relationships that you have with community partners, and the different roles and functions of those community partners, community members. And it's the same sort of thing that happens when you're preparing proposals. If you have long-term relationships, then it becomes a little bit easier. And I think that becomes important to sort of think about the stage of your relationship with the community agency, community members, in terms of how they are going to help shape and inform the proposal. They could decide to trust you, and you write it and they review it, provide a letter of support, and possibly, help others as they're thinking about ways to include community engagement or sort of make it a community-driven process.